All right, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash True Inferno. And here it is. I promised y'all I was gonna do this last week. I am reviewing another, never mind, No Limit, another Silkk the Shocker album. This one is called Made Man. This joint dropped January 19, 1999 under No Limit Records, Priority Records, and EMI, whatever that is or was. So, the producers involved with this album were Master P and Beats by the Pound, who both of them were the executive producers, and never mind that, they were the only producers involved here. So, this is Silkk the Shocker's third studio album, and this one was kind of interesting because not only did Snoop Dogg come back to be featured on this album, he was featured in the last one, but also we got Maya and Jay-Z in this album as well. So let's get on about this album. So this album debuted at #1 on both the US Billboard 200 and the top R&B/hip-hop albums charts. Also, this album made Silkk one of the best-selling artists of the late 1990s. On April 12th that same year, Made Man was certified platinum by the RIAA. And yeah, so that's pretty interesting. Now, by the end of the year 1999, which is called the US Billboard Year-End Charts 1999 Top Albums, that's a long title, this one was at number 36. So again, yeah, there you go with that. So before I get on with the track, I want to see if there's any other charts or things of that nature, and no, there is not. So now we can get on with the tracks. So there's 20 tracks. 2 of them are skits, so there's really 18 songs on here. So once again, I can give you guys a top 5, not a top 3. Also, all lyrics written in this track, they were written by Silkk the Shocker and feature rappers. And once again, I had to groan at this one. Out of all of the 18 tracks, or really the 18 songs, only 3 of them, no, that's not true. Yeah, 3 of them were done by Silkk the Shocker alone. That's it. Every other song features a rapper of some kind, whether they're No Limit or not. But there's one good thing though, not just about every single song features Master P. No, instead, only 4. Wait, is it 4? I thought I counted 4 earlier. 1, 2. Wait, now I'm seeing 3. What the heck? Let me redo that count. 1, 2, 3. I guess it is 3. So only 3 songs feature Master P. So already this is an improvement. Now let's get on with the tracks. So the first track is called The Day I Was Made, and again, this one does not feature anybody. The second track is called Somebody Like Me featuring Maya, and this is actually the first single. Wait a minute, what? Okay, that's interesting. This is one of the 3 singles off of this album. I'm gonna just say one of the 3 because I can't call it the first. Moving on, here's another single, It Ain't My Fault Part 2, and this one features Mystical. So yes, remember I already talked about It Ain't My Fault Part 1. We got Part 2, and it was on this album. Track number 4 is the other single off of this album, which is called Ghetto Rain, featuring Master P, there he is, and Odell, the producer. Followed by This Is For, the number 4, For My, featuring Short Circuit. And then we got the first skit, which is called Commercial 1. Track number 7 is called You Know What We Bout, featuring Master P again, and Jay-Z. Track number 8 is called I Want to Be With You, featuring Odell, the producer again. Okay, whatever. Track number 9 is called All Because You, featuring Maya X or Mia X, whichever how you pronounce that. Followed by track number 10, which is called No Limit, featuring Fiend and Mystical. Next up is End of the Road, featuring Sons of Funk. Next up is We Won't Stop, featuring Master P and C Murder. Next up is track number 13, Mr. 99, another track that Silkk did by himself. Next up is It Takes More, featuring Ghetto Commission. And then track number 15 is called If It Don't Make, and then there's a $ right there. So I'm gonna read it as If It Don't Make Dollars. And again, this is the third and only track that, or final track rather, that Silkk did by himself. Track number 16 is called It's Going Around Outside featuring Rico of Sons of Funk. Next up is Putting On Something featuring Mia X or Maya X. Next up is another skit, the second skit off this album, Commercial 2, featuring Fiend. Yes, a skit that features a rapper. Yes, I crap you now. Track number 19 is called Southside Niggas featuring C Murder, and the last track is called Get It Up featuring Snoop Dogg. So, let's talk about the 3 singles. The first single is called Somebody Like Me. So this is the one that features Maya, and this single dropped February 16, 1999. I can't call this, wait a minute. So they calling it the second single off of this album, which is interesting, and I'll explain why it's interesting in a second. The single achieved moderate success on the charts as it was number 43rd on the US Billboard Hot R&B/Hip Hop Songs charts, and it sold 700,000 copies. And that was moderate success, I guess. Now, the other single is called It Ain't My Fault Part 2. And that came out, I crap you not, the same day. Yeah, so that came out February 16, 1999. So 2 singles came out on the same day. I crap you not. So that was pretty interesting right there. Now, there's no charts or anything like that for this single. I'm not sure there was a music video for it. I don't know. And then, of course, the third single was called... What was the third single called again? Oh yeah, Ghetto Rain. And actually, there was a music video for Ghetto Rain, excuse me. And it was No Limit's first claymation music video. I never heard of claymation until now, so I have no clue what that is or was, to be honest with you. So, yeah. So with the 3 singles out the way, and I don't think Part 2, Ain't My Fault Part 2, made the charts. And oh, it did. It actually did. So it was 13th on the US Billboard Hot 100. It was 4th on the US Hot R&B/Hip Hop Songs charts, and it was number 1 on the Hot Rap Songs chart. So that's pretty cool. And Ghetto Rain did not make any charts at all. Now, let's get on to my favorite tracks off this album for worst to first. So the worst track off this album is This Is For My featuring Short Circuit. So the beat sounded a bit childish, and the drum pattern was decent though. But the beat itself, it just sounded weird. It sounded a bit childish for me. Next up is All Because of You featuring Mia or Maya X. I didn't like the beat. That's basically it right there. Next up is No Limit featuring Fiend and Mystical. The drum pattern was unique, but at the same time, it still wasn't good. And then next up, we got It's Going Around Outside. And this one features Rico of Sons of Funk. And the beat was Next up is, and then from this point, everything was just okay or decent wherever going up. Mr. 99 is next. The beat was okay. They used a snap as a snare. I would have used a different snare than that. And my gosh, I don't know why they constantly kept saying Mr. in this song. Like every line or bar, they would say, you would hear somebody say Mr. I'm like, can y'all stop that? That sounds so annoying. And there's another annoying track. I'll get more of that later. Next up is Somebody Like Me featuring Maya. This sounds more like an R&B track. Really, this sounds like something that should be on Maya's album. And then next up we got Ghetto Rain featuring Master P and Odell. The beat ain't bad here. That's all I gotta say about that. Next up is I Want to Be With You featuring Odell again. And in this song, after every 2 bars, so for those of you who don't know what a bar is, like when you performing a song, right? You got lines, you got bars, and you got verses. So normally a verse consists of 8 bars or 16 lines. So let me give you an example. So I'm gonna be real childish with this. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, that's a line. So I'm about to turn that to a bar. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. None of y'all fools out there cannot hang with me, or something like that. But yeah, you see how there was 2 lines? So obviously the ending of the first line was 1, 2, 3. The end of the second line was hang with me. So they still rhyme, obviously. And that's a bar. So 2 lines, 1 bar. So at the end of every 2 bars, there's this note. Like you will hear this note. And I'm like, why is it there? And yeah, the pitch is different on certain parts. But again, why is that? Why? The beat was good without that. And that brought it down. Okay, it was just so annoying. Like every 2 bars, you just hear this, you just hear this random note. And I'm like, why? It's so stupid. Next up is We Won't Stop featuring Master P and C Muddy. The beat got potential. They should have put a different snare on it. That's all I gotta say about that. Next up is It Takes More featuring Ghetto Commission. And you could, like, if you hear the snare, you can tell this is that No Limit trademark snare right here. But it needs a banging kick or a banging bass, man, because this beat got a lot of potential as well. It's just that it needed a bass, man, really good bass or a banging kick, and then it would be dope. Next up is Southside Niggas featuring C Mudder. This joint's a banger right here. And then we got Get It Up featuring Snoop Dogg. This sounds like a pimp anthem right here, man. This really do. All right, so before I get to my top 5, there's one thing I want to point out before we get up there. I want to talk about End of the Road. End of the Road actually is a sample of this song called Easy by Commodores. So if you know it, it's really it's basically the sample. They basically use that sample. So yeah, there you go with that, man. There you go with that. They basically use that sample right there. So now let's get on to my top 5. The 5th best song off this album is Put It On Something featuring Mia or Maya X, whichever one. The beat was cool, and it's really, I have to admit, it was kind of dope. The beat was cool here, man. So yeah, there you go with that. 4th best track off this album is The Day I Was Made. Again, the beat was cool, and this one's more of a head nodder than Put It On Something. So I like that one as well. The other best track off this album is If It Don't Make Dollars. This is pretty cool. It's got a unique pattern, and you could get lost if you're not paying attention to the pattern. Like, not the drum pattern, but the pattern of the beat in general. Like, it's really complicated to listen to and keep track of the patterns, but it's not impossible. So there you go with that. 2nd best track off this album is You Know What We About featuring Master P and Jay-Z. The beat is mostly cool. They should have used a different snare, and for the hook there's this piano, right? And I'm like, no, you should have used strings or something else, or even a different type of piano, some type of keyboard. So I don't know, but what they had on there now, what they have rather, it just didn't fit. It didn't sound right, but it's still cool. Obviously Jay-Z was on that song, so you can't go wrong with it. And of course, the best song off this album is It Ain't My Fault Part 2 featuring Mystical. The beat bangs, and the second half of Mystical's verse was dope as heck, but part 1 was better. But still though, out of all the songs right here, this one without question, It Ain't My Fault Part 2, the best song off this album. So let me give you guys some professional ratings. All Music gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars. Entertainment Weekly gave it an A-. Fast Forward Weekly gave it a, 3.5 out of 5 stars. Rolling Stones gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The Source gave it 4 out of 5 stars. LA Times gave it 2.5 out of 4 stars. And USA Today gave it 4 out of 4 stars. And The Village Voice gave it a favorable review. So, what do I think about this album? Okay, I'm about to be completely honest with you guys. These are the only 2 Silkk the Shocker's albums that I heard. And he have a grand total of 5 far as I know of, unless he came out with that incredible album that was supposed to come out a year ago. And I'm going to say that Charger to the Game was his best one. Even though charts wise, Made Man outperformed Charger to the Game on the charts, but as far as like listening to both of those albums, Charger to the Game is better in my opinion. Made Man, I'm gonna give this one 3 out of 5 stars. It was not a lot of, oh my gosh, this is a pretty amazing track. Man, in fact, there was none like that. There was none like that at all. So, It Ain't My Fault Part 2 is a classic because it was a single, it was a banger back then. But it wasn't fire, it wasn't hot, you know, it wasn't dope as heck. No tracks on here were that. And again, It Ain't My Fault Part 2 was the best track off this album, but it was really cool. That's the most I can describe it. It was really cool, that's it. And everything else was either the same or below. Nothing was you know, legendary or fire or hot, anything like that. So 3 out of 5 stars. I would not recommend listening to this. I would probably say listen to It Ain't My Fault Part 2. you know what we about. And then the good thing about that track is Silkk went first with the first verse, then Jay-Z. So you can skip the third verse because it was by Master P. And I'm not really a Master P fan. I never liked Master P. So you can skip that third verse. And then if it don't make dollars, I challenge y'all to listen to that and to identify the pattern of the entire beat, not just the drums. The day I was made, and put it on something, you know, y'all find them on YouTube and listen to them. But the rest of the album, I say don't worry about it. So yeah, with that out the way, y'all know who this is. This your boy, the new Jay Gatsby, aka the new Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.